how we knew we could hoop because everything was based on Richmond County. You know, it was no Evans Grove town. It was based on if you could hoop, Lane Hill shows in Richmond, Glen Hill. You know, it's the schools. You know what I mean? But no, yeah, for sure. That's what we do. When we didn't play, I used to come watch Hayes and Mitchell. I used to come to all them games. Used to be by myself, and my mom would come with me. But those the days. So this is how I built a relationship with a lot of people. Like I was already trying to network to like 16, 17, 18 to get the back for the future. You know what I'm saying?
All right, mic check. More Than Masters podcast was made, of course. Of course, me, I got a special guest, Mr. Sean Mims. How you doing?
Doing good, man. Doing good.
Can't hear the claps, but they're clapping pretty loud. Know you had a busy week. We're gonna get into your story. I do want to say congrats. You just flew up from New York.
New York, yes, sir.
At the draft. Talk about
NBA
that a little bit.
Yes, sir. It was a good experience. We had one of our Upward Star South Carolina alums, Colin Murray Bowles, who played at the University of South Carolina. He played for us. Went number 9, lottery to Toronto Raptors. Big night. Very excited for him and his family and the hard work he put in. So we got a chance to witness that, and also get a little bit more behind the scenes of what it goes on. Meet some people and just enjoy the time we was there for a couple of days.
Is that the highest draft pick that you?
That's the highest draft pick in our program so far.
And you said the Upward Stars.
Upward Stars.
How long has it been around?
This is year 15.
Oh, damn,
year
okay.
15. 2 years independent, and the 2 years independent. Third year was Reebok, and for the other years we've been sponsored by Adidas the entire time.
I'm trying to make sure I got it right. Did y'all have a guy named LJ Peak play with y'all?
LJ Peak did play with us.
PJ Dozier?
PJ Dozier did play with us.
Okay, I remember that. Okay. Yeah. So clap it up for y'all, yeah. That's what I'm talking about, man. Yeah, that's what's up, man. That's what's up. How can kids get with that program? Because that seems like the program to be with.
Just like anything. We will target kids that we want and build relationships with them, but we also open up the tryouts, and there's people come in who just the best that day, and they get an opportunity to play with us. And if they don't make the national team with our Adidas team, we have regional teams all over South Carolina and parts of Georgia, so they all could be part of our program. And with that being said, if you're with our program, and you can play, we're gonna try to push you to the next level as a person, as a player. So I think it's a great organization to be a part of.
Well, I just want to ask you, you play basketball too. I know we get into the story, but
yes, sir.
How does it feel like, okay, well, you didn't go to the league, or I don't know, we'll get into your story for like what happened after high school and college and stuff like that, but what's the feeling like to get someone to that level?
It's a great feeling, and I don't do it by myself, but I got a great team with me who supports me. We work together, and we just try to build the players up, man, and try to give them a platform and opportunity to do what they do. What they do with it is on their own. And I got to give a lot of credit to them as players for taking the opportunity that was given to them and work extra hard, but also being in the right position at the right time to do what they need to do.
And like I said, I know I spoke to you one time before. I spoke to you plenty of times, but I spoke to you one time before on camera. This was like 2020, maybe, I don't know. This is the last class, actually in this very gym. And y'all had played a game, and then we spoke in the back. And when you think about the clash, I think of a lot of players who played at a high level and still at a high level now, but played at a high level in high school, where it's like survival of the fittest, survival of the choices, I would say, because it's not about you being better, it's about who making better choices while getting better to get to that next level. Like what do you say? What can you say to players like that? Like they're playing in the clash, but they all had that kind of opportunity at some point or another to reach that level. And you see how well they play now still. How can you speak to like just the work you got to put in to get to that next level? Because it's not easy. It's not easy.
You have to sacrifices. I mean, you have to be goal driven, and being around a good group of people. You have a lot of no's, man. People going right, you got to go left. People going left, you got to go right. But that's your goal. That's your vision that you want. That's what you're gonna put the time in. And you just, like I said, you got to put the time in as far as being in the gym, classroom, and just taking care of the things you need to do, So that is a lot of time, but it's capable. People do it all the time, you know what I'm saying? So
well, thank you for that. I want to clap it up for you for wanting to get you right. And I know you speak on a regular, so it's nothing to you, but I want to start with you. So how I normally start what I'm doing, I just ask people like where they from. Like, so where'd you grow up? Where you from? You from Augusta? You from the South, North Augusta, the South Carolina area? Well, where you from? And like talk about your upbringing a little bit. Like,
born and raised in North Augusta, South Carolina. Okay. We call it the North right now. Is what people
the
use.
North is crazy. I like that.
So, man, just grew up. 4 brothers, 1 sister. Great mom, great family raised me. But we was always a sports generated family with a lot of, pride, a lot of discipline, and just we always wanted to be better than what we do, no matter what it be. And our one thing that we all do as family, we was always in the service. Like we serve people. Our character, how we treated people is very important. And I learned that from my parents, from my mother, my grandmother, my grandfather, people around me. So it just carried on. And I was driven to be successful. I saw how hard people around me worked.
Yeah.
I just wanted to be successful. I guess the cliche story: get your mama a bigger house, big crib.
Yeah.
But it came down to just want to make her proud, but also get opportunity, to make my area proud, to make the people proud around me. And as I got older, just make myself proud to do things I need to do.
We'll talk about a little bit because I'm living in this side of town. The South. We don't call it that, but just to kind of like talk about growing up in North Augusta. Like, what was that like for you around your era?
Again, tight knit. I mean, sports was what kept me out of trouble. A lot of guys in my neighborhood, we played a lot of sports, whether basketball, baseball, football, in the street, in the backyard. So I had a lot of people around me that they're athletes or were goal driven as well. Some of them went their own ways, but having that upbringing and then very competitive. Like people in our neighborhood, when they went to North Augusta, they were homecoming kings. They were the best player. They was college athletes. So when you went to the court or went to the park, I mean, you had to compete, no matter how old you are in university. So I got early age. I knew if I want to be good, these are the people I got to measure against, and and I just went from there.
So, like in North Augusta, like around your era, not necessarily high school, but just talking about like maybe middle school era, young era. Like, who were some players that you competed with that end up being good or that end up doing good, big things?
Per se, don't know names, but some of those guys that I competed against in the North Augusta area in middle school, those guys went on to play at Aiken, South Aiken, Silver Bluff, Midland Valley. Those places like that to be pretty good.
Why so spread out? That's a good question. We don't have that here. Why so spread out over there?
It's South Carolina, North Augusta and South Carolina, Augusta's in Georgia. Now that I'm learning, it probably came down some rules why we didn't play each other as much. I guess scheduling, people wanted to do it, but it just spread out like that. So as I got older, I was able to see, people from Richmond County, Columbia County, the Georgia area, to see how well they play, and I end up meeting them through basketball and things like that. So, and as I got older, one of the biggest staple again in North Augusta, Antonio Grant.
Definitely. Shout out to him.
Antonio Grant. His brother was says he's best Caesar Grant. But just me personally going to middle school, competing against those guys that I say that went to other schools in South Carolina, I've always wanted to play for North Augusta. I saw my brother play for him. I want to be like my big brother. So hey, since 8, 9, 10 years old, going up there on Sundays with the older guys who was already there, I said one day I'm gonna be a Yellow Jacket, and that was my goal. Like I'm gonna play varsity. I'm gonna be a Yellow Jacket. I'm gonna be like my big brother. I'm gonna put the North jersey on, and God's will, the opportunity he gave me, I did. And pretty successful at doing that.
So I know one of the rules, like in North Augusta, if I'm not mistaken, I don't know if it was in your era or just something that changed, but in North Augusta, like you could play JV, high school and middle school. Or am I tripping?
Yeah. So, for my understanding, in South Carolina, it's based on district. So you may have a 7th grader, 8th grader who can play, varsity or JV. That could be based on the rule they have in that district, and sometimes based on numbers too. You may not have enough sometimes, and people, male or female, get moved up to play varsity. And sometimes based on your talent, like, hey man, you good enough, let's go ahead and bypass middle school, and move up. But some kids who had the opportunity to do that, some kids their parents still decide to keep them down in middle school. So
that makes sense. So just back to like you a little bit. So I know you said you said you have 4 brothers?
4 brothers, 1 sister, yeah.
You the middle child, youngest?
Next to the youngest, I got an older brother, 2 older brothers, my older sister, me, And then my younger brother, so it's 5 of us. Yeah.
So what was that like? Like, did you have to compete with them a lot?
With my older brothers and my sister, they were more so like a disciplinarians, kind of like my parent. So they're much older. I mean, I'm talking about 10 to 15 years older. So they had a lot of life experience.
That's a big gap.
Yeah. So then my younger brother, like 5-6 years younger than me. So I'm kind of in the right there. So a lot of people I hung with were my peers at school.
Yeah.
And like I say, when it came to my brother and my sister, they was literally my mother's at work or grandma's at work. They took care of me if I got in trouble. I mean, they disciplined me. They took care of me. You know, if I needed some money, they took care of me. And as I got older, I used to wear like I say, my brothers, they had all that. They was older, so they worked. So they had the nice gear.
Yeah.
So as I got older to wear it, I put the nice gear on. You know, sometimes without their permission. You know what I'm saying? So
that's dope, though. We talked, and I don't know how we're gonna put this out yet, but we talked to another, legend of Augusta. And we talked to Tony Mitchell, and I think one of the themes, and Dave, if I'm wrong, correct me, but I think one of the things we had there was just having that proper guidance, that loving guidance, not just, oh, I see what I can get from you, so I'm gonna take care of you, but I love you, so I'm gonna take care of you, right? You speak about having, the siblings and then, your parents and things of that nature. So did you ever feel like, did you feel protected coming up?
Yes. Extended family, from my mother to my brothers and sisters, to my uncles, my aunties, my cousins. Like, I felt protected, and those people had the best interest in me. And we, as a family, we did a lot of things as a family. Sundays, holidays, birthdays. So, the support. So if one couldn't be there, you would see another one, and that goes for all of us. So that guidance was love. It was genuine love. It didn't matter if you played a sport or not. You represent yourself and your family, so they really want the best for you. And if you did something right or wrong, the proper reinforcement was going to be taken.
Yeah.
So that really helped in guiding me to try to be the best I can be.
Nah, that's dope. I like that. I definitely think that's a much needed answer for what we trying to do here. Even in younger years, like, did you know about this side of town, like Augusta? Because you said you played in the North Augusta, South Carolina area, and y'all all was nice in your own rights and your own level. Did you know about any of the players from over here at a younger age, like middle school, before you got to high school?
I just hear about them. Just as far as, like, I know they were good. Like, I always knew, like, this side of Georgia was tough. That's all they talked about. And like I said, my first basketball camp was with Jared White, rest in peace, or to a legend. I went to his basketball camp, so I got an idea of what it was like to be around other players from different places. And some of those is ironic. So some of them kids I met back in the early 90s as growing up, I saw them again. And again, it's like, oh, you went to camp together, and we just have some in common. So, basketballs have allowed me to meet people, in other areas. Yeah. But like I say, just knowing I wanted to play ball, it didn't matter where, you know what I'm saying?
But if you can, from what you can remember, I know you got a lot of history, but like, what you remember of that camp? What can you remember from that camp?
I remember being, first of all, it was fun. It was a great experience to really get out of my comfort zone, just being and for the kids I went to school with, in my neighborhood, but just being out of my comfort zone and a lot of people. Two, the instruction that we was able to get and the feedback in learning. And three, just seeing some of these special guests and NBA guys that Coach White knew.
Yeah.
And four, learning, like, oh, I got to get better. Like, I got to get better. Like, if I want to hoop, these are the things I had to work on. And you know what I'm saying? Like I said, that was like my first camp shirt. It was a white T-shirt with red and white, said Jared White camp. I probably kept that shirt for a while. Just some memories. I knew, like, okay. And not thinking, like, now that I run camp, some of the ideas that I learned from them at a young age, 9, 10, 11 years old, it's like, oh, I still remember. I'm going to include this when I do camps.
Yeah.
And, like, the teaching part of the game, even though it's camp, and the competitive, those are the things I took from that as well.
That's dope. And dope. I'm not from here, but I hear about it all the time. I heard David speak about it. I heard all the players, all the legends speak about that. So I know that camp meant a lot to the city and just the players from the city. So just getting back to the North Augusta. So you said you knew you were going to be a Yellow Jacket. Like, you just knew coming out, this is what I want to do.
Yeah.
So did you play for North Augusta in middle school at
No, I actually went. I played my 7th, 8th grade year at Paul Knox Middle School, which is a feeder school right the road from North Augusta.
He went to Paul Knox.
Paul Knox.
Okay.
He went to Paul Knox. So, but I was always attended the game, and then like I knew, like, hey, my foundation came from there.
Yeah.
And when I get to North Augusta, it was like, hey.
But you wanted to go to Paul Knox, like willingly, or like?
You know, I had to go. My mother tell me to go. The bus came and picked us up. We got on the bus.
Hey, remember them days?
Yeah, we got on the bus and went to Paul Knox. Now, a couple years after me, you know, they rezoned and some of the kids went to North Augusta Middle School. But you know, I went to Paul Knox. You know, what I'm saying, with a lot of pride in that. So,
I'm gonna ask the question just because, like I said, me, David, like I don't know what he know from the era.
Yeah.
But since we don't speak on it all the time, like we speak of the Murphys, the Glen Hill Middles, the, you know, Tuts, all that. So was that a rivalry at all? Like Paul Knox?
Paul Knox and North Augusta Middle School was the rivalry.
Okay.
You know, and that was our rivalry. I mean, we had to move our games to the high school.
Wow.
Yeah, so to North Augusta High School when we played. And then after the regular season,
these middle school games.
We moved we moved our middle school game to the high school to play that game when it was a rivalry game.
I don't see the middle school getting packed no more like they used to, you know what I'm saying?
And like then later on we'll play like our tournament. So we played the championship game, so things like that. So I mean, it was a great experience.
That's dope. All right, and so describe your play, like how you played in middle school. Like, were you good? Were you? Yeah.
I was pretty good. You know, I was always versatile. I was taller than some of the people. So I played.
You played the 3 in middle school too?
And I played the 4 and the 5 because I was a little taller than most people. Mm-hmm. But I had good coaching, and they always told me like, you're not going to be 6'7", 6'8", 6'9". So you're going to have to work on your ball skills, your ball handling, your shooting. You're going to get quicker, get stronger. So that foundation allowed me as I moved on to the summer of my 9th grade and on through high school, working on the skills that I needed to be able to be successful in the game based on the position I need to play.
So speaking of the rivalry, like I said, it's still clash. I'm still asking kind of clash-ish questions like, your rivalry, who got the better during your years in middle school? Did they beat y'all? Did y'all beat North Augusta? Like, how was that like in middle school?
I think my first year, 7th grade, we split with them, with North Augusta Middle School. Then my 8th grade year, there's no question, Paul Knox was the best team.
Oh, we're gonna see. You know, Walt gonna watch this. He gonna tell me because Walt got a history of North Augusta. So, talk about going into to North Augusta High School. Mm-hmm. So, what was that like in that era back then? Because like what I see now, we got players. If you're really really good in 8th grade, you're probably never gonna touch JV. You go straight to varsity.
Yeah.
But that wasn't always a thing. That's like a new culture. And kind of like a anomaly with some players, obviously. Because some players are really that good to just skip over. But what was your journey like?
Well, my journey, so our high school coach was always kind of around to watch the middle school. So going into 9th grade, my 9th grade year, I went to team camp with the high school. So I already played JV.
Real quick, describe what that is for people.
So team camp is when...
For me, I'm sorry.
Yeah, high school coaches, high school programs take their varsity, junior varsity, and C team, which is probably can't have a 9th grade team. They take them to different colleges. For example, we went to University of South Carolina, went to Newberry College, went to Presbyterian College, went to Furman University for our team camp. So at team camp, it's schools all around the state of South Carolina, depending where you are. It could be teams from Georgia, teams from Florida, teams from Tennessee. So the rising 9th graders that was coming from North Augusta Middle School, Paul Knox, and some of the JV players who was already there, I was able to play with them, going to like Newberry camp and South Carolina camp to be able to start my high school journey. So I got a taste of what it would be like to play high school ball and where my game was, because now kids are bigger, faster, and stronger. So I asked myself, what I'm going to do now? Yeah. What I'm going to work? What's my advantage? So just put my head down and start working.
What was that like? How was that camp like?
It was good. It was good. You took your lumps and bruises. I think I had a fast break, and my first dunk attempt, I got home. So I was like, I got home. But our coach had a rule: you miss one dunk, cool. You miss second dunk, you don't play no more. So everything gets to I'll be able to dunk, lay it up, put off the glass. But it just taught me like, hey, you got to come in and work, and then nothing will be given to you. And I knew I had to outwork whoever's on my team, but me outworking them, what's going to make my team better. Because they were good players. If I'm a good player, then we can take our talent together and go play against other teams and be better,
Yeah.
So
you said that because I know you went to school with two really, really good players. Probably more, but I'm just saying two people know. Antonio Grant and then Ty Walker.
Yeah, Ty Walker. So, Antonio Grant was before me. Tyrone Walker was in the same grade with me. But his brother he had a brother as well. So we had a real good team.
Older brother, younger brother?
Older brother.
Okay.
So Roosevelt Walker was his brother. He graduated a year before we did.
Wait, real quick. So you said that Tyrone was in the same grade as you?
Yeah.
So he went to Paul Knox or?
No. So Tyrone actually went to another middle school.
Y'all got more than them too?
It's our account. He went to Meriwether, and he was on for Strong Thurman. And his brother himself ended up making that move to North Augusta, and the rest is history. So I thank Strong Thurman all the time for giving that gym. But I knew them already.
Yeah.
But they just lived in the area. So whatever their parents decided to get to North Augusta, it was all love.
But that's why I asked that question, because I don't know, 'cause I don't travel through South Carolina like that much. A little bit, but not that much. I know nothing else. South Aiken, Aiken is Silver Bluff somewhere around there. North Augusta. That's about it for me. Like I don't know
Midland Valley. Now you got Fox Street.
That too.
You got some other schools.
I seen Fox Creek before. I seen that before. But I don't hear about them too heavy. But I asked that question because you mentioned Strong Thurman. I don't know how close or how far it is.
I say for North Augusta, Strong Thurman, I guesstimate 25, 30 minutes.
Yeah, so I guess it's about like y'all playing each other, y'all 25, 30 minutes apart, but you North Augusta, and like you really 5 minutes from Augusta, technically speaking.
5 minutes from Augusta. So in my pickup days, my playing days, I was able to pick up a summer league in Augusta against the Augusta guys, but also we had our summer leagues and pickup games in North Augusta. So some of the guys like from Aiken, from Strong Thurman, I play against them. And I was a traveler, so I may play some pickup games in Aiken. I may play some pickup against North Augusta.
Where y'all playing at? Y'all playing outside or inside?
Depends. City Court is in front of the old police station. We played out there. We played at the rec center where the Peace Jam is now. That's where we played growing up.
Yeah.
Play in the backyard. If you go to Aiken, you go to different a park, or you go to their gym they have. So we just went to different areas. When I came to Augusta, we'd play at May Park. We'd play at Warren Road. We hoop here. I had the experience to be able to play at Augusta State in the summer against the college guys. So we traveled. We got in the car. We traveled, try to find the games to play, What
do you think the difference is between like back in the day then playing and the love for the game versus now? I asked that because the theory is, or we all talk about like the parks is empty. Nobody playing in the parks no more. Like you don't see kids outside playing. I barely see a kid dribbling the ball. I just talked to Tony last night. He mentioned like walking through Sunset, just dribbling the ball, trying to learn to move.
Yeah,
I don't see kids dribbling basketball.
Well, I think the access to gyms now a little more than when I came up. We just had to go find a place to hoop, get out the house from doing things. So if it was outside on the court, it was in a gym, and like in North Augusta, the city court and other courts where older guys played at. We went to hoop there with them, So in today's time, I think people have access to a gym, a different gym, different location, kind of spread out. We had our Field Beyond. If you want to get a game, you know where to go.
Yeah. But I know you play with like a lot of high level players as well too. So have you seen where that is affecting their game at all? Like just not having to go find a place to play versus you getting up and you work with a trainer, you only doing it like practice
I think
setting.
All of it has its pros and cons. I think I talked about this to somebody else. Maybe if I had a trainer or somebody to fine tune a little bit more, it could have worked. But I still got where I got to go. I think the trainers, based on who you train with and what's being taught to you and what you really trying to apply in the game, it can work for you as well. I see trainers now are using a concept where they going over a certain skill and put into gameplay, like 2-on-2, 3-on-3, which is a model that a lot of the FIBA, which is overseas play, NBA use. They use a lot of 3-on-3, 2-on-2 to work on different skills in different games. So if they get that work in and they're dedicated with it, I think they can reach the goals or be productive in what they do.
Okay. So you said, you're going into high school, y'all go to team camp. You have some good days, bad days here and there. So what's that freshman year like? Like you playing the JV, you varsity, like what's that like?
Played varsity probably the first month. And first month, and when some of the football players went out there because they're still in football season, took my lumps and bruises. Again, guys bigger, faster, stronger.
Right.
Still got to compete.
How tall were you in 9th grade? From what you remember?
6'6".
Okay, so you was tall.
Yeah. So and trying to adjust to be another position. And
because you came from playing 4 or 5.
Yeah, 4 or 5 to trying to play the 2 and the 3, and just understanding the movement, what to do, when to do it, why to do it. And then you got guys 6'4", 6'5" on our varsity teams, bigger, stronger, jumping over you, trying to get a shot off you and block. They faster, so that was okay. That gain speed. I remember our first scrimmage against the varsity in my freshman year. It was like 27-5. Like we scored 5 points. I'm like, man, but we competed. So I figured like we compete, we'd be good against other JV teams. But it just made me want to work more. But those varsity guys guided us. Even though they talked trash and beat up on it, they guided us. We was a tight-knit group because we all wanted us to succeed. And they saw the potential in me and also the guys that was around us.
And you said Grant was younger than you.
No, Grant's older than me. Yeah, older than me.
So describe him and when you first seen him play, and then just through high school.
To describe him, he was really, to me, the first guy really like, man, he's in the league. Like he's a league player. He's an NBA player. And, watching him play again inspired us again to want to be the best we can be. And then him going to South Carolina, following his, journey. He would come home in the summer and we'll work out. Like he'll come pick me up, pick us up. Yeah. We all go play pickup, work out, show us some things that he learned that helped us at our game. He was all very supportive, coming back. So we just saw a level that we know we could good at if we put the work in. Yeah. So like I said, if you want to come to Antonio Green, he's like, that guy right there, that's what the NBA looked like.
That's what's up. And also like playing for Augusta and yourself, did y'all play a lot of Augusta teams at all, like during this time?
100 Black Men, we played at Augusta State.
100 Black Men, where y'all played at back then?
We played at Augusta State.
Okay.
We played some Georgia teams, not only from just Augusta area, but I remember playing some teams from Macon as well. And like I say, the team we played the most in Richmond County was Butler. And we also played teams in Columbia County, Greenbrier, Evans. Got a chance to play Lakeside before. So, but I still knew guys in this area from Richmond County through the summer leagues, things like that.
When y'all played that Butler team, like, you remember any players from that team?
Man, they had my favorite player, Hollywood, Richard Wilson. It was real good. It was real good, and they had a lot more players too. But just remember him. No, he's like a 6'5" point guard. I was like, that's like I realized you 6'5", you're a guard. Yeah, you ain't posting nobody up. You got to go out there and be able to handle the ball.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. They had some other guys. They had name. Don't come to me, but we had a guy who really good, played at Auburn, ended up playing in the league, played for the 49ers, played on that team too. His name will come to me. His name will come to me in a second.
Bill out there too?
Huh?
Bill Kogel?
Yeah, Bill was there too. Yeah, Bill was out there too. They had a guy named Big Gerald. So they have some good players.
How them games went? Who won?
I ain't gonna lie to you. We smacked them. We smacked them a few times.
Hey, smack is crazy when you talk about Butler High School. Y'all won by 5 points. That's it.
Nah, they'll tell you. Like when you see Bill and a couple guys, they'll be like, man, those guys were pretty good. But they beat us as well. But it was a rivalry. You know what I'm saying?
I did want to ask you something. Since you're more versed, I know man probably don't remember all this, but you remember like what you think it would take to, because back then, you remember Kwame Brown came?
Yeah.
Was Kendrick Perkins came?
Yeah.
Do you, I know not understanding that being young, like now it's like, I'm trying to figure out what would it take to be able to bring like them type of high level like schools to tournaments in this area or, even across the bridge. Because I feel like back then it was more than just like ranked teams was coming down. And what you think the difference now and then as to why, we don't have those type of matchups anymore in this area per se?
Couple things. I think could be scheduling based on these teams got to play so many conference games, and could be what'd be the best game for the door for the money, to get, for your program. Number two, for those type of high level teams to come, you gotta have some perks.
Right. That's why I wonder what was it.
You're gonna have to pay them. You're gonna have to house them, feed them, for them to come, and then they want the matchup too. So if I'm coming this far, who we playing?
Real quick, just to say what you were saying, I don't know all the players back then, but I know like Tony talked about rankings and stuff like that. It sound like and every era gonna feel like they had the best era. That's just common. But it sound like when you think about the '90s, late '90s, early 2000s, you have really like high level efficient players. Not just being nice, just if I'm on the floor, I'm efficient also. So some names that get brought up a lot. Like I know Tony brought up the guy from Hefzibah.
Bobby Carter.
Bobby Carter.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he said people say wasn't good, but he said, well, I couldn't tell because every time he played me, he worked me. But he ranked in the nation. You know what I'm saying? So like, sometimes I think what you're saying, teams was getting that matchup then because teams was good.
And you can get these matchups in the area then back then too.
Right.
I mean, them Thompson Westside guys, the NBA guys, them Lane. I mean, you got those matchups in the area like that. And I'm not gonna compare eras. Just in my era, you could see them, physically see the people who was going. You physically saw Rick Moore, Antonio Grant. You physically saw William Avery and Cunningham and all of them. You saw them.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you saw Tasha. You saw those guys.
Yeah.
And you saw the Donald. You saw the Tony Mitchells and the Tyrone Hayes and all that. The Jeff Bowden, rest in peace. You saw those guys weekly and you heard about them. So it's like, and each year it's like a group. It's a group. It wasn't spread out. It's like, those guys played, and you can see that, and people had to really come to like see it.
Hey, I'm gonna ask him that because I think that's good for the clash and what it mean. Like a lot of players you just named, instead of me asking you to rank them, because I know that's probably hard to do. Like, can you tell me why each one was so special? We can start with Jeff Bolton because I hear about him a lot.
Jeff, big guard, like he was just smooth. I mean, he played the game. He knew how to play the game, and he could score. And you knew, like, okay, he playing on the next level. He just playing on the next level.
Tony Mitchell.
To me, because Tony Mitchell played with, I told David this. Tony Mitchell played with me in the Peace Jam going into my senior year. He was a young point guard. I think
you are older than him.
Yeah, I'm older than him.
He mentioned that too. He said that he played 3 years.
Yeah. So he was to me, he was ahead of his time with his work ethic, his ball handling, his feel for the game. I mean, so him coming into high school, it was varsity, starting varsity. A player like that. To see West Side with Ricky Moore and William Avery, like high level Division I professionals.
On the same team.
And you like, like wow.
Like how did y'all stop that? How can y'all play that? Like knowing you're playing two D1 players.
And I'm not gonna hold you and be honest with it. Like when North Dakota played them, we had our opportunities to beat them. Like the 2 times we played them. I'd be remiss. We lost both. It's probably maybe 5 points or less, but it's like
now it's 5 points or less.
I'm talking about we played West Side.
I know. Now it's 5 points or less. Okay.
Yeah. But for them, they were just players who you didn't really run a play for. If they need a bucket, you need to stop. They can just do it. So that they'll just that's kind of special talent.
So play both sides of the ball.
Play both sides, offense and defense.
You mentioned somebody else. Tyshawn, you said.
Tyshawn. I mean, they could just score. Like if you're Shine, like he could just score. And then I like I told Dave, I've been a big basketball person since like when I was younger, early 90s. So for him to be like, he went to Seton Hall. I'm like, yo, he going to Seton Hall?
Yeah.
And he like out of here, you know what I'm saying? So he just got to it. We didn't
even mention. I was gonna say we didn't even mention Vontigo Cummings.
I was getting to them. They had Vontigo, and they had his teammate. They ended up going to Long Beach. So Thompson had had some hoopers, and that's one of the first time, I seen Augusta University sold out because Westside and Thompson had to move that game there. So whoever got that VH1 tape, who made it to a CD, they got a classic for sure. And then think about it. I think the guy from Thompson, name was Anton Lee with the Long Beat. Vontigo was anywhere between 6'5", 6'6". Anton Lee was between 6'5", 6'7". Then you had so you had 4 pros on the court at one time, and it was just it's nothing like it.
I know we talk about like the actual games and the players, but describe like being at the games back then. We get it sometimes here now still. Like you got, it depends. It just depends who's playing now.
Yeah.
But I think back then, maybe because it was maybe because it wasn't that much to do outside, like back in the day. But I feel like all the games was packed. Like you say, y'all middle school game, y'all moving into a high school gym because people coming, so many people coming. But nowadays, like you might see 20 people. The parents might come to the games. You know what I'm saying? So
I think then you look forward to those games, a Friday night or a Saturday night game. So you look forward to it, and like the saying, you just had to be there. So people, was looking forward to those games, and that brought people to the games. And when we got to the games, when people got to the game, it wasn't walking around with your friends. You really trying to get your seat and lock into the game. So
yeah, but that's funny. I see that a lot. Like the kids that walk around, but it's just social setting more than watching the game.
For sure.
So talk about like so during this time you in high school. Like what would you say in your opinion your best game you had? Your most memorable game in high school.
Most memorable game,
and why was that?
My most memorable game, my 2 most memorable games, we actually lost. It was more so. We was one game, my junior and senior year, we was one game away from the state championship.
That was in the state championship?
It was the upper state championship. So it was 2, in South Carolina, we had 2 divisions. We had the lower state and the upper state. So upper state is more so like, it's hard to describe, but, like in Georgia, you got South Georgia, like the lower part, and then you got more towards the top part of Georgia. Yeah. Like in South Carolina, we had lower state, upper state. And we was in the upper state championship, and we lost my first year. My junior year to South Aiken, who ended up going to the state championship and winning. And they had a guy named Tony Kitchens who played at the University of South Carolina, 6'11", was an All-American. And then my senior year,
and he from South Carolina.
He's from South Carolina. Went to South Aiken, went to the University of South Carolina. Okay. I think he played professional for a little bit. And then my senior year, we lost to Lexington High School, which is in Columbia, who's in our region. We played them 3 times, and on the 3rd time, it was an upstate championship, and they ended up beating us. So I remember that because that was our goal. Our goal was to get to the state championship. And in my junior year, we lost. And on a bus ride back, I told my point guard beside me, I said, we'll be back next year. Believe that. And we ended up getting back. And we was 25-0. And that was the only loss that year in the upstate.
What would you think? I mean, this is on a tangent to ask me this question. What you think about that? Like when a team is like undefeated, do you think that's like a curse for like the championship game, or when you get down to the wire?
They gave us every team gave us our best shot, and then now being a coach and going back and thinking about that game, the scouting report on that game was to the T. It's to the T. So you take away what they did. You take away the moves or they go-to players, which is Tyron Walker and I. Make it tough on them, and let everybody else try to win the game for you. And we end up, I think him and I both end up fouling out before the game was over. So,
damn.
That took it. But that was a good team too. And I think they end up, I don't know if they end up losing the state championship that year. Lexington lost that year in '99, but the next year, that same team ended up going back and winning it. So
what did, like in talking about like just the South Carolina rivalries, did that bother you at all? Like the fact that your junior year, not only did y'all lose, but then South Aiken wins, so they kind of got the bragging rights of like, hey, we the best.
It bothered me because we was all in the same region. Like we play that was our 3rd time playing them in the upstate. We split with them, so them winning was like, man. But I did go to the game. Yeah. And I did want them to win, like support, because hey man, if y'all beat us, go ahead and finish the job, Yeah.
So. Did it make you feel any better, the fact that y'all could beat them and they the champions?
Yeah. Like I said, I felt like, hey, if we get there, anything's possible.
Right.
I thought we had a good chance to win, even though the teams that we were going to play were pretty good as well.
Okay. So talk about like during your high school your play. How many schools looking at you like? How's that working for you as far as getting to the next level?
My recruiting started to pick up junior year. Summer going into my senior year. I said I got the opportunity to play in front of people. I was able to play the Peace Jam, got some looks, and then I coach again, taking us to different camps, like the team camps. So we ended up going to team camps, and my play spoke for itself. So I did get some looks. My thing was, and what some kids probably go through now or did go through, just the SAT score. I was a pretty decent student, but just trying to get that qualifying score.
Yeah,
I wasn't able to get it because I felt I had a good chance of going Division I or to a 4-year per se. Ended up going to junior college, went to Spartanburg Methodist, and later transferred to Landon University, Division II, Peach Belt, which was in the same conference as USC Aiken right now in Augusta University. So end up finishing there, playing in the good league, good basketball. So I mean,
before I jump into the college though, I wanted to ask because you mentioned the Peach Jam, and I wanted to ask you that question. What were the rules like back then? Because it seemed like I think Tony said the same thing. Like back then during the Peach Jam, they would let Augusta have a team because y'all played it. I don't know if that's why. I'm just assuming because it's here.
Yeah.
Hey, what's y'all team? Y'all could be in this as well.
So we was able to take our local talent and other talent. It's a mixture of like the local talent from Georgia and South Carolina put together some of the best players. And they had like a coaches and committee who would put that together, and we was able to compete to qualify in the play-in games to play in the Peach Jam. And then my year, we actually qualified to play.
Just tell me about that process. Not maybe you might know from a coach's standpoint, from a player standpoint, were there extra practices, a certain amount of practice you had to do with each other to get that gel going?
I mean, we practiced. We had a great coaching staff. Those coaches that coached us are championship coaches. We had some good players who ended up going on to play in college. But we went through the whole process. We practiced and we worked out, and we actually went through it. And it was a blessing because growing up in North Augusta again, I saw the first Peach Jam until the one that had last year. So I was always around it, but to get the opportunity to play, to see guys on that magnitude, but also get to compete against them, it's pretty neat.
What your junior year, I guess you said, playing with Tony, or y'all play. Who were some names y'all played against during that time? Like, because the Peach Jam, how I look at it now, I don't know how it was back then, but it seemed like you playing the Peach Jam. These most likely going to be people you see in the NBA in the next, maybe now 2 years, but 4 years.
So the most memorable person I think I can remember from back then I played against was Al Harrington, who spent a lot of years in the league. Spent a lot of years in the league, and
played for the Pacers, ain't it?
Yeah, so played the Pacers. So he was one of the guys that I remember just off the top of my head. I was fortunate. I think maybe we played our 4 play-in games and we qualified. We did pretty good, and then we actually played them the next in the Peach Jam, and ended up getting hurt. Had to go to the training room, and I spent time in the training room. Right beside him was Tyson Chandler.
Oh wow!
So I got to me, and I was like, yo, this is for real, because again, I kept up with sports through the magazines and the newspaper. I'm like, it's Tyson Chandler.
So in real time, you knew who that was.
Real time.
No social media. Just through magazines.
So I reading Streets of Smith magazine, USA Today's, keeping up with it. Listening to TV and things like that. I was already into it. I kept up with that from then. I was like, oh, that's Tyson Chandler. I mean, everybody says he's going to the league, and he was a little younger than me, but like we chopped it up for a little minute. I was like, yo, this is high level.
Yeah.
It's real high level to be a part of this,
So who was on that team with y'all? Is you? Is Tony Mitchell? Like, who's on the team with
y'all? Tony, Tyrone Hayes were with us. We have some other guys from the South Carolina area, but those guys were like, remembering Tony and remembering Hayes were the guys that are. Tyrone Walker was on the team with us.
Okay.
But a couple more guys from South Carolina with us. So we had a real good team. A couple of the guys that was on the team, one of them ended up going playing football at the University of South Carolina. So we had a pretty good team. Like, so we qualified and did pretty good. It just obviously we were stricken by size. Them guys were 6'9", 6'10", 7 foot, but we competed. Again, we had a great coach staff, good players, they get the opportunity. And I think they kept doing that for a while. Man, obviously now in this time, we don't have a local team in it, but local players do get to play in it based on the team they play for. If they play with a team from another part of Georgia, South Carolina, or North Carolina, they're able to play in it.
I know that's how you probably can't. I don't know if you can tell me like verbatim. I guess from hearing Tony's story, he said so much. I was trying to figure out exactly what age he was playing with them, because if he a junior,
Tony was a freshman.
Oh, so he had played 1 year of high school already.
Yeah. I think Tony was a freshman.
Okay.
I don't know if he was incoming freshman or just finished his freshman year playing, but he was a freshman playing with us.
Yeah, it's hard for us to tell because it seemed like from 8th to 9th was like so much happened for him that summer. That really.
Like I say, he was ahead of his time. It's like it came to him quick when they got whiff of him. I mean, it's like, oh, Tony Mitchell.
Yeah.
And I mean, he was one of those guys, in my opinion.
So I know you said you went to junior college, then going to Lander. So talk about your time there. Like, how was that playing for Lander?
Just an adjustment, going to college, time management, pace of the game. I had some setbacks because I felt like, man, I supposed to be in Division I or be somewhere. So I mean, it took me some time to get over that part.
Setbacks, just like mental, like for yourself?
Mental,
okay.
But also really the first time being away from home. Being away from home, and just getting to the speed of the game, the physicality, the demands of my coach, and not being around people and places that I'm familiar with.
Right.
But once I got adjusted to it, it was just basketball again. It became basketball, and my goal was always to make sure that I left what I didn't come with, some type of paperwork, degree.
Yeah.
So I knew to move into a 4-year, I had to have good grades and at least, my associate's degree. So I ended up getting that, so.
Yeah. So I know, like, I always ask people this, like, when you playing younger, middle school, college, high school, you got these dreams of, obviously, everybody, you talk about the draft when you first started the league, getting to the next level. At what point in your life or career you was like, okay, well, I'm an X-league off. I'm probably not going to make it to the NBA, but I'm going to do X, Y, Z.
I was 19. I was 19 when I knew what was my next step, how I'm going to use basketball part of my next step. In this area, people heard of Clint Bryant, very a legend in his own right in the college basketball game in Augusta University. He used to do camps, Clint Bryant camps, and every summer, I think going into my freshman year in college to a few years into college, I worked this camp. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna use this blueprint, take some things I learned, and say, hey, one day I'm gonna run my own camp. Just I can be a part of basketball in a different way if I don't make it to the league. And I remember going in my sophomore year, our junior college coach had us walk kids around, on their visit.
Yeah.
And I knew if they was with us, they was good. And they came and I was like, hey, I heard about you already because I kept up with guys. We need you here. And I just told my college coach, I said, Coach, if it don't work out for me playing basketball, I want to be a coach. And I think that also that summer, the year I graduated from high school, I coached my first AAU team, my YBOA team in North Augusta. I took some of the middle school kids and some of the freshman kids in North Augusta. And my good friend, who's my best friend, who's still with him today, with Upper Curtis Wheeler, we put our money together, borrowed some pennies, from the Junior Hornets, basketball pennies, and put them in a tournament, the YBO tournament. I was like, this could be another avenue at 18, 19 years old. So I was already thinking ahead from there.
So is that kind of when y'all started Upward Stars?
Well, no. That was when I first started getting
coaching.
Coaching while I was still a player.
Okay.
And like I say, I wanted to give back. I saw the process that I went through by seeing the process that guys in front of me, like Antonio and those guys, go through. And I say, what can I do to give a little bit to help the guys under me, what I've seen and what I've done and what I'm going through. So I figured, I come back and try to help coach them a little bit in the summertime.
So before I get back into that, I want to kind of take a step back a little bit. You were saying how when you was in Lander, or just in college rather, you kind of had a setback because just being away from home, but also not being around people you knew. today, like how do you have players adjust to that or help players adjust to that new scenery? Like, it's one thing to live down the street and play in Augusta. So yeah, they know you cross the bridge. They know you here. They reach a little longer now, so you might not be known in a 50 mile radius. But then when you move to, Connecticut or you move to California or you move to Florida, they don't know you. They you just a statistic from where you came. But then you're playing with people and you got to adjust to a new coaching staff, a coach that ain't grow up with you. They don't know your tendencies. They just know what they want from you.
Yeah.
How do you help players adjust to that?
When you get there, you still got to understand your vision while you're there. You got to know your vision. And two, that's a chance when you get there, you may not be in the same role that you had in high school or in junior college. So you have to adapt to your role and by understanding why you're there. And the quicker you can do that, the better. And understand you're only there for a period of time. So what they do in that period of time is going to impact you down the road.
Yeah.
And you see now that players, male and female, getting second and third chance because of the transfer portal, transfer rules, different things like that. That wasn't always necessarily the case my years and moving forward. And I'm glad to see they are now. But from that standpoint, what I just said, you just had to go there with the same vision of mind. And let's go back to the beginning, that support group that you have around you. Because what are you really missing? The people that really support you and love you are letting you know this is the best for you.
Right.
And push it through and see it through. I've seen some people, hey, you want to come on home. Oh, the homies are pulling at you. Hey man, you don't need school, you don't need that, man. You good around here. And
missing this party.
And you missed the party. So that sucks them in as well.
Yeah.
So, just like having that strong guidance around that love, who want the best for you and understand the vision while you're there.
And how important is because everything you speak of, I think is the journey is important as well when you get to that level because, if you gotten coddled a lot, you may not get that when you get to college. Like that's out the window. Like a coach will talk to you a certain kind of way. You might not be used to that. Now you feel like the world hates you. You might can't take that. And then also like a lot of the tendencies that you had, like you said, you might not be doing the same thing. So in high school, you might have scored 25 a game. And that's why they scouted you too. But when you get here, I don't want you scoring 25. Yeah. Don't even take 5 shots. I want you playing defense.
You're going to have to be okay with that if you want to play. And if you're selling the role they give you and keep improving, your role will expand. And some players don't adapt to that or, have a hard time struggling with that. And that moves into the bench or less minutes. Sometimes that calls them to transfer so they can get that role.
And I know it's really sometimes there's no way around it because you really don't know. Once again, I said earlier, I think going to the league, this is my opinion, of course, going to the league is, and you would know more because you've seen it, but it's a lot of choices as well because you can make the wrong choice. You don't know until after, but you make the wrong choice. And so even picking the right school that fits something you want to do and also having that partnership with, this is why we bring you here versus I want to go to this school because it's a big school and I might get a better look. They play on TV, but now the risk is, but you're playing defense on TV. You're not scoring 25 on TV versus going to, I don't want to say no school, but going to a smaller school where it could have been yours. It's like, you can play this way here. And we can just keep growing from there.
Got to find the right fit. The right fit is very important. And yes, you're going to have, some players have a variety of schools that recruit them from the highest level, like a Power 4 to big conferences. You hear words like mid-majors, smaller schools. You have to find the right fit for you to be able to accomplish what you want to accomplish. And even with the transfer portal now, some good players are going to smaller schools, developing, and end up moving on to the higher level.
Yeah.
And some people may choose a fit based on what other people want them to do because it sounds, oh man, I can go around and say, hey man, Mims, he ended up going to Clemson. Yeah, Mims ended up going to, Florida. I may go there and have to wait my turn or wait, or just a role that I need, they want me to play.
Right.
Can I handle that? Whether go maybe somewhere, well, okay, I can kind of be who I am and develop in today's time. And if I can transfer, I would transfer because I have that experience. I have that experience to do that. So it's a lot of variables that goes into that. But again, it's about fit and acceptance, accepting your role and what you do.
Do you know of any, if at all, like, do they have like classes on that? Like I feel like I know they have classes for like, when they know for a fact guys going to the league. I know they get them classes. Even I think Tony mentioned the ABCD camp, but they would give classes for like with girls and all this, like how you should move and do certain things so you know what to do in the situations. Is there classes for kids like that?
When you're going to that level, that there's people around you to guide you, and there's the resources for you for that. And again, if you one of those dudes, they'll teach you how you got to move like this, move like that. But yeah, they do have some the guidance and information to make sure, hey, this is what you need to do, do's and don'ts, and how to move now. And especially now with the NIL money, there's things around you to make sure, money management.
Yeah,
things like that.
I meant more like on the kids in high school, as far as like that recruiting process. Like, do you think that's a good idea for like kids to be a freshman, a sophomore, to get them kind of classes? Like, hey, y'all gonna start getting recruited, and now they getting recruited early. I mean, everybody getting offers.
So if you and I are going into high school right now, the information is there. I mean, the information is prevalent on the NCAA website. Your guidance department, your school, hopefully your coach know what class you need to take, the criteria. That's for you to do. Now,
that's how y'all move in South Carolina?
Yeah, that's how we move.
Well, in Augusta, they don't. So I wasn't sure because we don't be knowing all this stuff.
Yeah.
You'll be knowing the next year,
Well, I think, like say, even for us coaches, so we can make sure we help players and their parents to be able to, maneuver through this process coming into high school, even in middle school, if they see their child or children playing on the next level or trying to go to school, period.
Yeah.
I mean, those are requirements to do that. And, I mean, that's the best thing, you getting the right people around you.
Yeah. So talk about like just, you getting into coaching. So you start the younger league.
Yeah.
What's the next step for you after that? You see?
Well, my next step was I finished playing. Was go back in college. During the summer when I wasn't playing, I still was helping out with AAU on a smaller level with Kurt Wheeler and some other guys. And
who's that? I'm sorry.
Curtis Wheeler he's from North Augusta. He's our director of the Upward Stars program.
Okay.
We've been together since we was like 18, 19. So
he played basketball too?
He played basketball at North Augusta too.
But y'all?
He had a chance to play in college, but decided not to.
Okay.
So he went in. He again got his bachelor and master degree, but all around basketball. So he again not playing in college, but took basketball in a different avenue.
Right.
To impact the game another way.
And
so just in the summertime, I'll go back.
I was just gonna say, former Glen Hills.
Former Glen.
We ain't need that. We ain't need that.
But coaching during the summer, working camps. Working different camps. I'll work camps back in this area. I'll work. Lander will have camps. I worked that camp. I'll work like different college camps. And I remember I worked University of South Carolina camp at one point, Gardner-Webb, Presbyterian College, just working camps and networking. Also earning some money as being a college student. And then my senior year, we got done. I asked my college coach, could I help out the next year, finish up my degree? Could I help out with the team?
Yeah.
Practice and just learn how to coach. And then they had a coaching change when I got done. And that coach who came in was like, all right, you can help you be the manager, like a grad assistant.
Yeah.
And I just worked through there. And then when I graduated, he offered me, again, a volunteer spot on the coaching staff. So my journey was...
You had to work your way up.
I always worked my way up from the manager to the grad assistant. I thought I was going to come in and be in film, work on the court. I started with VH1 recording, burning the DVDs back in those days, washing the jersey, sweeping, unlocking the door, rebounding, being in meetings and not saying anything, just paying my dues.
Yeah.
And I had that opportunity. So I tell people my opportunity to be a coach came on different levels.
Yeah.
And then obviously when he resigned and took another job, I had to decide that I want to follow this coaching pattern of being a college coach or take what I've learned and maybe get back to the grassroots, which is the feed up like middle school, high school.
Yeah.
So I took the route that I'm taking now.
So did you after working with Lander, did you go to another school or you just you stayed in the AAU circuit?
I stayed in the area and got back into the AAU circuit.
Okay.
Got back in the AAU circuit, and that's when I got back to the AAU circuit. That's when we was here, still based out of Augusta, and we based out of Augusta. So I just got back with Curtis and that group of people to get back going in coaching. So that's what I started doing.
Okay, and so talk about. I know you said you coaching. I don't know exactly when, but I guess we could jump to that if it's a jump. Talk about the birth of Upward Stars and where you coaching in that. Like, what's your role in that organization?
So, Upward Stars was started. I got a call, and I got a call from a coach who had the talks with the Upward Foundation already. He called me and said, "Hey," told me the plan. Can you be in Spartanburg for a meeting on a certain day? I said, yes, sir, I can be there. Curtis got the same call, and we both had interviews, and they had wanted to, Upward does the church league and the youth league, the little kids, that's like wanting to start a travel branch off of it. And they saw fit to ask us to help upstart it. And from there, it just, with the vision of those people and our work, and obviously the expansion of the vision, it took off. And I spent a lot of years as a sideline coach. I was coaching, and then the last 4 years I've been more on the behind the scenes as the director. I coaches counseling. So what my role is now is that I consult with all our coaches to help them become better coaches.
Gotcha.
And I'm over player development. So development of players. Help making a plan, what I see, I share that information, and if I need to, I get back on the court and work them out as well.
So, but describe a coaching style, how the coaching staff look for an organization of some sort. Is it one coach and then all the players? Is it multiple coaches, multiple eyes on the court?
We have multiple coaches. Right now, it's at least 3 to 4 guys on our bench. So we have head coach, an assistant. On all the assistants on the bench have a role to do, based on what the head coach needs to do. And through the Upward Stars program, we have a coach's conduct that they got to go by, and then for my role to make sure all the coaches know what the non-negotiables are. These are things that your expectation and things like that. So that's what they follow.
Okay, but I guess I'm just, if you can't get deep in, let me know. I just asking I'm asking myself, and then my brother trying to get in the coach. I'm trying to. I always make sure it's informative. But for a staff, even if it's high school, what would be a decent staff for you? Because I do see some teams with one coach, but you see a difference because then you get that one voice. Yeah. But you got teams with multiple coaches, you got multiple eyes on the court, look for different things. They might say this play, this person might do offense, might do rebound, might do loose ball stuff. Yeah. But you got a coach that got looking at the game a million ways. One person just can't do it.
So for the coaching staff, as a head coach, you have your vision. So you have your vision and how you see your team is going to be, your philosophy. And from there, your assistants are incorporated into the philosophy with their roles. And that's how you build, and that's what it's built from. So with your staff, they all of them have roles that fits into your philosophy, style of play, and your culture of your program. So that's how you build it. Now, how you build it, that all depends on your knowledge and the kind of players you have and what you see the vision is for your team. Yeah,
and I tell you on a tangent, but I'm asking because I got somebody coaching in front of me. But I do feel like sometimes you got I don't want to give anybody a bad rap per se, but you got some staffs where it's clear miscommunication there. Let's just say that because you getting different you're getting told different things from different players, and whereas the head coach might be the head of it, but he's not respected by, or she's not respected by assistant coaches. So you got this one player here and one thing for this person, then you go sit down like, you did good. He ain't talking about that. But it's like a miscommunication there.
From that standpoint, everything starts at the top. If I'm the head coach, I set the standard, and I set the foundation for the team. I set the roles for my assistant coach, and this is how we're going to do it. It's up to the assistant coach to buy in, because the assistant coach job is to make the head coach look good. If you disagree with anything on the court in practice, is not the time to talk about it. Let's talk about it in the office. Let's chop it up. Bring facts into it. Hey, coach, we should look at this because of this. And as a head coach, we have the autonomy to say, all right, we'll look at it. Not right now. We can say yes or no.
Yeah, right.
So, and if as a coach, I know that you or David can get through to a player. Hey, man, go talk to him for me. So, it's build relationships.
Yeah, definitely.
But it always starts at the top when it comes to your coaching staff.
I just wanted to know that. You got a question, though?
No, well, I was on ask because me, like, knowing you, like, somewhat personally, is there ever a time where you feel like, man, I like what I'm doing, but I miss being on that sideline?
Yeah, all the time. All the time.
Yeah.
All the time.
Knowing you, I feel like.
Yeah, all the time. So that's why I'm always learning. I'm always watching film. I'm always listening to be the best person in my position to my coaches.
Gotcha.
But one thing I try not to do, is hard. I try not to overstep my boundaries and respect what I do. So if I'm voicing anything to the team, I'm echoing what they're saying.
Mm-hmm.
And then my job after the game or in our meetings or in our text thread or our emails is to give them my opinion, and what I saw and some suggestions.
Right.
So you would never see me go against them, but it'd be like some days I'm coming back. And some days I'd be like, all right, okay, all right, I'm good over here.
Now, I ain't looking for you to down or anything. I just want like your what's the word I'm looking for? Your opinion on a I guess personal level. But you look at all these different eras. Look at the era you played in, and a lot of efficiency. Maybe this era, maybe more talent than the efficiency per se. I don't know how to look at it, but I also think you have an eye from the coaching standpoint. Mm-hmm. So even though you from a certain era, you played in a certain era, you've seen certain eras, you also seen these same eras or later eras in a coaching standpoint where you probably and most likely have been amazed and like wowed by some talent you've seen. So you don't have like no quote unquote maybe biasness to it. When you look at, I guess maybe your 90s, early 2000s, late 2000s, 2010s to now, when you see a lot of debates that David makes all the time, every year, like when he say, this versus this, or this class versus this class, or list this player, is there ever a time where you just totally disagree with something, or you feel like each era, each class got their pros and cons?
I think each era has their pros and cons, because in the game of basketball, man, to be on that level we're talking about, I think each player and coach has worked hard to be on that level. I know what I saw with my own eyes, but also see that, and to say take the era now, it's some talent, and that these young men and women put the time in to do that. Right. So, are there some certain things from my era or early 2000 that which we can incorporate now and vice versa? Yes. But
realistically speaking, is there ever a way, and you, Dave, you can answer this too, because you kind of old too, you got from the era, but is there ever really a way like you can really like compare any eras? Because I think every era played totally differently. Like y'all, like I don't know what y'all did enough Augusta, but y'all played inside out a lot back in the day. Yeah. So you needed a big man. Today, and not saying you don't need a big man, but today that he not getting the first touches. Big man mad most of the game. He ain't getting the ball.
The roles of, say, a forward, based on what he or she need to do, and what type of skill they need to possess, it's changed. It's changed a bit. I think each era goes through how they play and their style of play. But again, going back to us in North Augusta, the people around us, like our coaches, were saying, you're not going to be 6'6". You're not going to be a post work in your game. So our practices and workouts were geared towards being a well-rounded player.
Yeah.
So we can adjust to where we go. That's just my thing. Like, I think that players should work on their game to be well-rounded so they can adjust to wherever they step on court at. Not because I'm the tallest person on my team, I got to play down low. Or I'm a small guard, I just got to play point guard. Let's put players and help them work on the game where it fits, because in the long run, that's going to be crucial for them to continue to play the game of basketball or whatever sport they need to play. But we're just particularly talking about basketball.
Yeah.
And I would say this, also the player or the players have to also take some accountability to want to get better as well. And I think once that matches with the parents, the coaches, and player of the accountability and that plan that is needed and the role that I expect, I think you get some better results that you're looking for.
Yeah.
So I know your AU journey, you got AU coaching, but you coach in the Adidas circuit and the EYBL, right?
Oh well, yeah, I have coached in the EYBL and on the Adidas circuit.
So let's tell me the difference between the two from what you saw.
I'm not even gonna compare what's different, but I know both of them are very high level. They're very high level, and when you come to play, you have to have good players, and you got to come to play every single day. And it's a platform that not many people get to play on, not many people get to coach on. So as a player, as a coach, you got to bring your A game every day. I know some people say the EYBL or the Nike circuit when it's called when I was there.
Yeah,
bigs. You see a little more big size, but all in all, you make a comparison. The comparison is those great players made a choice of what circuit they want to play in based on the team that they're able to play on.
Mm-hmm.
But once they lace them up, I think they will compete against each other. You just got to be ready to go, and it's competitive because to me it's a lot of AAU or travel teams in the world or around the country, but on those circuits only a few. It's a small percent.
Yeah.
So they consider the best of the best or the most talented. So every night I think everybody's coming. Most people have the same goal.
Right.
So we're trying to work to the same goal. And when you get to July or the live period, which when coaches are able to come out, they are all eyes on you, and they got to make a decision on the court who they want based on what they need and fit. And it could be you, could be somebody else. So, but you give yourself the opportunity to do it.
Yeah.
I think you got to compete at a high level. That's
a dope answer. I like that answer. That's you speak well. I do that question because you say you went to Lander. I know a guy I went to school with for a second went to Lander. You mentioned beating Butler. So, but Brent, you coached Brent.
Brent. So
was that
yeah, I coached Brent. Yeah, I coached Brent at AAU, and I coached Brent in college as well.
So you was there when he was at Lander.
I recruited Brent to come to Lander.
There we go.
Because he played on the AAU team. So I knew Brent for a while. So I was like, hey,
full circle.
Once I got in there, full circle, like, hey, this is a kid who can fall to our level that we need. And in our Brent's freshman year, we actually won our conference tournament and went to the NCAA. So he helped me get a ring while he was there. So I do appreciate that.
Talk about the type of player he was. I'm just.
Oh yeah.
So he's a player from
athletic,
class.
Big body. Lefty. He went all left, but it was hard to stop. Double guy.
Definitely.
Double guy. 15 feet in. Later in his career, he may step out to shoot the three, but we needed him to rebound and be around the rim, clean it up. So, but coachable guy, and to deal with anything the team need him to do. So,
just talk about, and I know it's briefly. I know we get more entwined with the class, but like you taught as well, though.
Yeah.
So talk about that. Like, what got you into that? Was it from coaching? Was it just because you feel like you wanted to help the youth?
I fell into teaching based on the suggestion from a couple of my college, classmates. When I transferred to Lander, I want to do PE, based on credits and the class I was taking. Didn't work out. I tried another major. I was like, this not me. This is not me. Like, me doing this is not me. Psychology is not me. So I had a couple of friends suggest, hey, come try education. It's not a lot of males in there. And during that time, males did a lot of PE. But PE was one of the things that they were trying to cut out in the school system.
Yeah.
That and music and art. So I said, I'm going to do the classroom. So long story short, I majored in elementary education, and I just finished my 20th year.
Oh,
and teaching. So,
it's not an easy field.
No, it's not easy field. I've done elementary, and then that first 10 was elementary. The last 10 has been middle school. So,
Paul Knox?
No, I actually reside now in Greenwood, South Carolina. So when I got done at Lander, I got done at Lander. When I started coaching, I was able to be the volunteer assistant for a few years, and also have my full-time teaching job at the same time. So I would do morning workouts, shower up, go to work. After work, I would come in between 4:30, 5:30, and finish the day at Lander, repeat. I did that for like 6 years.
Wow.
But it's the grind I wanted to be able to be in the position I'm in today.
What about like, and I know with your upward program, like what about like kids being sent to work out with you? Maybe maybe not on the team, but do you still work kids out from the city? Or
for me, I tell people, you can play for whoever you want to play. And when it comes to getting better, helping the kids, that doesn't matter to me. You know, like I said, I have my own organization, my own program, Hoops EDU. So when I'm not with Upward, I use that. Talk
about that a little bit.
Yeah, I use that to try to help other kids with training, with mentoring, things like that. So, yes, Upward's my program. I love it to death. But when it comes to helping kids and trying to do what's best for them, that don't get in my way.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I got enough knowledge and experience and willingness to help kids. I'm gonna help them. So, male or female.
Okay, I was gonna ask that.
Male or female, yeah.
But y'all also got like y'all got a women's team.
Yeah, we have a women's side too. Fairly new. I think it's like in its third or fourth year. So it's gaining this traction.
Don't you gonna play for them? Oh no, I'm Josie. Carrie, she play for them? Carrie, she play with them?
The young lady from Josie?
Yeah.
She's a hooper. I told every time I see her, I tell her I'm glad she's in our program.
Oh yeah, she is.
So yeah,
she's
cold. She's pretty good player.
Yeah, I watched it now. I didn't watch her in the summer league as well. I just see how she got better from even just last season to now in the summer. She
works and she wants. She has a want to. Like she wants to get better, and her confidence of knowing like, hey, when I'm on the court, no matter who I'm playing against, I'm gonna get to it.
Is the approach different with male hoopers and female hoopers?
My approach for male or female is all of it based about development. I look at the development. And as far as training, I look at the development and I try to base my development based on their skill level, based on their skill level. And then if they're in a position where they have an opportunity to play on the next level, I take the same approach to try to make a plan for them, build a relationship with their parents, and then trying to find the best fit for them.
Yeah.
To go from there. Because I tell people sometimes, you may play at schools that you never heard of. Like you got favorite schools you write down, but the schools that recruit you may not have ever heard of them until they recruit you.
Right.
So you have to. So then from there, now you got to change your mind. So for an example, hey, you may have grown up wanting to play for, just say it's University of South Carolina or University of Georgia, but then you get Augusta University or North Georgia or Lander, USC can recruit you. That's not what you was looking at, but now you got to think, okay, cool. I still want to play on the next level. As myself, my parents, my coaches, we got to get abreast on that and see what the process, what do they want from us? How do we get there? How can we make this work? Those people want me to be there, so now I got to look at it a different way. So, we look at it from that standpoint.
No, that make a lot of sense. So even on the from the AU circuit side, what's some, I guess, different things you see from like today and then when you play, as far as like how many games, all the tournaments I have, live play, things like that?
I would say me growing up, I would say like this. I didn't know much about AAU in this area, but just based on seeing it through the Peace Jam and hearing about it, I knew it was other places, but then realized it was exclusive society. Like you had to be the best of the best. And the teams that were here locally that played, they took the best of the best and played. Now, AU's had to expand it to more teams, more organizations now. And I think organizations, the reason you start your organization or the teams is based on the purpose why you have it. Some do it to mentor, some do it to develop, some do it to make money, some do it to have, some do it, you know, they have a program, have a platform to help kids really get to the next level. It could be the feeder program for another program. And sometimes it could be parents may say, you know what, I want my child to be involved in something, to be well-rounded, to work with other people. They may put them at AAU that way. Some kids may, because my friend's doing it, it could be an opportunity to do that. And some of them are really like, you know what, I think I'm pretty decent at it. Let me try to invest in it to try to find a place where I can go because I want to play on the next level. So, you know, it's a little different.
Well, and I'm looking at somebody else here too. You was affiliated with the South Carolina Ravens?
Yeah, I was South Carolina Raven. That's before Upward.
That's what, EYBL?
Yeah, it was Nike Circuit. So that's when I was able to, obviously Reggie Middleton and Jarrell Stevenson. That's when I was able to coach those guys.
But Dobie was on there or no?
Dobie was with us with Team Truth, and Dobie and them a little older, so they ended up going. Dobie, Harold Dobie, Santuan Butler, those guys, Rod Hall. They were before. They were.
Oh, you coached them as well?
Yeah, I coached them guys as well.
Oh wow, okay.
So it's more, but we're just talking about that group.
That's a lot, yeah. he just ran through like 3 to 4 generations. You know what I'm saying? Playing with and then
yeah. So did those guys.
So talk. I guess I just want to know like what you thought about like when you playing with coaching Jarrell, Reggie. What was that like?
Jarrell was to start with Jarrell. Jarrell's one of the guys early who I understand what ranking was. Like Jarrell came out freshman, sophomore year, you know, top 100 in the country. You know, he thought the Jarrell you have today with the IQ, understand how to play basketball, to me, a leader, it was always been him. Always been him. I tell Reggie this all the time. I said Reggie was just a hard-nosed guard who just didn't back down. So I think Reggie's toughness and his will to win is what made Reggie successful along with his talent. And Reggie been the same size, but when he on the court, you know, he was a big dog. You know what I'm saying? So I was opportunity to get those guys in their younger days to help guide them as well.
About Raw Hall Dobie.
Yeah, so I met Harold Dobie his freshman year, and Laney came to team camp at Atlanta to play different teams. And that last day, Laney and the other team got in an argument.
Yeah, there we go.
got in an argument, and so Harold was kind of always outspoken, but he was always, he was a good player. So I was like, so then we got with him. So then he was one of the guys. Santuan Butler's on the same team, guys. So was that. Then Rod came after that. Rod was with us as well with Team Truth. And it just kept building from there.
Well, I only asked we supposed to talk to Ross. Hopefully they go through, I don't know. But and I told you off air, but when you speak about him, I never got to watch him play live. I hear about him. So it's almost like, to me, like a myth from like y'all era, because I didn't get to see him play live per se. But I do remember the first time I heard about him was through Don, my brother. And he came home, he just was like acting like Rob was like the greatest thing in the world. Like he was like
Raw was a great basketball player. I mean, he was strong, athletic, knew how to play, can shoot it. And then it was like, when he was on the court, man, he stood out. And obviously with his play, ended up going to Clemson. And what people don't know, after his 4 years at Clemson, he got a chance to play football.
Yeah,
he ended up going to playing football. He graduated with a degree from Clemson. If you go to Clemson now, to the Little John Coliseum, Rod Hall, Muro, him graduating is on there. So he was a prime time ticket to go sit in high school because his games were packed all the time. And Laney was a powerhouse. They had good coaching, they had good players. So people, Friday night ticket to Laney, you better get there early. You know what I'm saying? Based on what they're saying. So he was a good player, and a very coachable, humble. he had a dog in him, so so that probably come up for his background bringing, but he made a way, and now he's doing what he's doing now with raising a family. I think his son is going to be pretty good as well. Yeah.
He's another. Go ahead.
Oh, no, I was gonna say, and I think speaking to what you were talking about knowing your fit in your role, one of the dope things about Rod is, like you said, in high school he was just such a star, but he translated his whole game to being a point guard at Clemson, and the numbers weren't overwhelming, but he started all 4 years as a point guard.
And if someone was trying to adjust to that role, he's a person that you can look at and be like, you know what, I went 23, 25 a game, sometimes 30. Me have a 40 ball sometimes.
Right.
Then you get into Clemson. Hey, this is what I need. This is what I need from you. You're gonna play.
Yeah.
He humbled himself and play. I mean, it went from points to like being all defensive team.
Yeah.
Steals and assists, things like that, rebounding.
Like good
so,
defense.
but with his athleticism, so they saw like, hey, you're a bit physical guard.
Yeah.
We know you can score, but use that athleticism, that physicalness to be a good defender, and it worked out for him.
Definitely did.
Worked out for him.
It's funny because I was going to say, like, he mentioned that, like, going to somewhere and having to play that role, but that's Rod for you.
Right.
But like I said, the ignorance of, now I mean in a negative way, but just in definition, ignorance of some people. You look at it, you don't watch the game, you just look at the stats, you're like, damn, what Rod Hall doing? You know what I'm saying? Because you look at him, you used to see him in a Chronicle 25, 32, 27, but you might see like 7, now, but you don't know that 9 came down the last 4-minute stretch or free throws, and that won in the game. You don't get to see that, you know what I'm saying? But I think that's dope to see, because I hopefully get him on Sunday and ask him, because I want to ask him what he thought about that at that time.
Yeah, Raw had to go through his growing pains. He sat a little bit, but once after the sitting, it was no more sitting, because it's like, now I know what I need to do. I mean, I'm starting point guard at Clemson against Duke and North Carolina.
Right.
I'm playing against those guys. I'm in Madison Square, so he has a story he can tell that, again, some people can relate to, that he can share as well.
Yeah. David, in my notes, I do got because it's him and him about. I told him I was gonna ask about it though, but like, he had a situation with the restaurant earlier in the week. Right. Now I know they kind of got past it, but most people I asked wanted to ask about it from you. So you can kind of give me your own rendition of it, of how you want to talk about it.
Well, had an incident.
Just real quick, I'm only saying that because of, as we speak, I want some change in. You speak. I think we've got to know your character, like everything. You spoke high and well on every single thing. Like, it's probably one of the smoothest ones I did in a long time. It's smooth from. I can't think of no spot right now where it's not. No, for real. Like, this shit, it's like that, because like, even my notes, I ain't got to write notes, because like, I know where everything's gonna be at right now. Normally my notes all over the place, but I wanted to make sure I paint that picture, because even in that regard, I think David, I can speak from as well. We always like, whoa, this is Sean. Why are you going through this?
Yeah.
So I'm sorry, but go ahead.
No. So in that incident with the restaurant, it was just I've been there before. So I've been to that restaurant before, been served. I've done takeout. I've done sit down. Never been an issue. The people that I saw that day, I've seen them before in the restaurant. The workers I'm referring to. The managers, the manager, the shift manager, what you want to call them, I've seen them before. Has never been an issue. But that day, I was just trying to get a to-go meal that I usually get. Go home and watch the Cowboys.
Stop right there. I told him it was the Cowboys. I think they knew the Cowboys.
Yeah. So I walked in. I remember the day vividly. I walked in behind a couple, and I was the last person to walk in, because they closed at 2. I walked in probably like about 1:10. So
Okay.
So I walked in.
150.
Huh?
I thought you were about to say 150.
No. It's about 1. So they're still serving whatever, and they set the couple in front of me, and I waited to be seated. I never was seated. I'm like, okay. So a couple minutes went by, and I actually decided, just like in the restaurant, if there's open seating at the bar, you can go to the bar and sit down. They had like a little countertop. So I went to the countertop, and no one still served me. So my observation, I'm thinking they're busy, because I'm seeing the manager going around buffing tables, serving, so they're busy. So I got my phone out, scan the QR code, get a menu, because they didn't give me a menu yet. I'm not finna cause no trouble today. Like, I just want to get my food and go. understand they're busy. You know what I'm saying? They're not doing it on purpose. That's what's going on in my mind. So I was like, okay, I'm sitting here. All right, I said, excuse me, sir, asking the manager, may I have a menu? Okay, yes, sir. He goes and get me a menu and then asks me to leave. The reason for asking me to leave, he said that I actually I cursed out the hostess as I walked to the bar. Okay, I asked him a question like, sir, who did I curse out? I'm not sure what you're referring to. I said, can we step to the side to talk about this? So I didn't want to make a scene in the restaurant.
Right.
It wasn't my place to make a scene in the restaurant. This is a place of establishment. Let's keep it peaceful, keep it adult. Let's talk about it so nobody will make a scene.
Just real quick, as you walked to the bar, did you talk to anybody?
I didn't speak to anybody.
Okay,
I didn't speak to anybody. Still didn't get a menu. He didn't want to talk to me. I said, sir, can you just, okay? So I asked him a couple times. Then he said, sir, this is private property, private establishment. I'll call the police. I said, call the police? All right. I said, you want me to call them for you? I'm just like, what is really going on here? So I said, yeah. So in my mind, I'm thinking, if the police get involved, it's their word against mine. I got a job. I love my job. This can go the wrong way. The paper get it whipped. I'm thinking, I'm going to go. Yes, sir, I go. I walked out. And the couple beside me who just got their food, was like, sir, we don't know you, but we're going to leave with you because you were done wrong. So I just sat in the car for a minute like, yo,
Welcome to the Morning
did this
Masters
happen?
podcast brought by Brooke.
So like I told you earlier, off camera, I was like, okay, what's my posture? What I had on, I just had a regular blue polo hoodie, a hat, jogging, slides to go. So my general post was, I wasn't served. I'm not sure what was going on that day. Didn't. All right.
It wasn't bashful at all.
No, that probably had a bad day. Hopefully, hopefully I get my breakfast, something like that. And then a couple people commented on there as like, we're not gonna serve people who want to curse out teenagers. And I'm like, okay, cool. And I was like, you know what? I called one of my good friends. I told him what happened. And I was like, he said, for real? I said, yeah, man. So I left there. I go to Walgreens, pick some up. I'm sitting in the parking lot like, what just happened? And I didn't want to throw the race card up. I didn't want to say it's black in America. I was like, what just happened that I did on my part to cause that to happen? Because, what I'm saying? This not me. I didn't want to cause no scene. And then, I didn't check my phone and it just started spiraling. I'm like, people commenting, tagging, and sharing. It was like, before you know it went viral. And and then I got a call from the owner. He wasn't there that day. Same day, about 3 hours later.
Before the Cowboys game?
After the Cowboys game, we already lost. So, we already lost. We already lost.
We already lost. Overall, right?
Yeah, they already lost.
No breakfast, no win.
They had no breakfast, no win. And I'm sitting there, and a couple friends around me, and I said, I'm going to take this call. And the guy was the owner. He wasn't there. He said he got whiff of it. How he got whiff of it, he don't do social media. One of his longtime friends called him and said, hey, you need to check this out. Something just happened at your restaurant. And from there, we had our conversations, and for about 3 weeks, it was just a lot.
Right.
And, went through the process of just trying to interviews with different people, newspapers, speaking engagements, telling my story. But the main message I wanted to get out to people was, it's not about it's not about who I was and what I do. It's about how you treat people. And I just want to. I handled the situation based on I know how to handle it.
Right.
Other people might have doing it differently, but I wanted to handle it based on how I handle it, because I feel like they really did. It could have got bad. It could have jeopardized my career, the people around me. It could have had impact on what's going on. So, we took the situation from them. I met with a lot of people in their corporation, even corporate office. Even the CEO flew from Dallas. We spoke on it, and I just try to use that as a positive for my organization. in my community.
Right.
And from there, it's been something that has been I turn a negative to a real positive. I mean, giving back to the community, being able to do things through my organization for the community, and still have the same relationship with them. So,
yeah, it's just even like, well, thank you. I'll clap it up for you just for handling that with so much grace. David, just asking you, the day you saw that post, what were you at? What you remember about that day you saw the post?
I just remember the first time I saw it, it had like 50 shares. Like I just remember seeing like hundreds of comments on it. And I don't know if you came in the chat that day or not, or somebody sent it in the chat maybe.
Yeah, probably sent it in the chat, yeah.
And then we're just discussing it. But as most of the comments said, like me just knowing you, like it just didn't sound right at all. And I'm just, like you said, like me knowing me or you, like first thing we doing is going online and going off, and the way you handled it was just dope.
Oh no, I ain't leaving. That's just me. I'm not even going nowhere. That's all.
So I think a couple of my friends said, and my sister said this. They was like, I'm glad I wasn't with you because we might have handled it a little different. But again, it wasn't the place and time. I was just trying to figure out what's going on. I asked them, what did I do, or how can I help make it better? What can I do?
Right.
So for I say for about a month, it was just a lot going on, and people was in my inbox from other states, New York, Texas, Tennessee. So I heard your story. Other people in the restaurant that day realized what was going on. It was like, you didn't do anything. I can't believe it happened to you. I mean, friends from high school, college,
ask, though,
everywhere,
Like, I guess it's probably too much, but like, who was it you had supposed to have cursed out, and then they not pull film and say, hey?
Well, okay. They said the hostess were young people. They were like maybe high school workers. And this is how observant I am. The one young lady that was working, I worked with her mom in the school system, so I know her. So I'm like, I'm about to speak to her. And the other young lady was training her, because that conversation was, when you sit them down, this is how you read the numbers on the table, this is how you wrap the fork. So I'm thinking, okay, that could be the reason why they ain't serving me, because she's trying to train her. It's a little delay. And they say those are the people that I actually cursed out. And they took her word over mine and just didn't ask no questions, like, they came at me a certain way. The owner, when he called me, pulled the camera, he said he was appalled. He's like, I can't believe it happened to you, because it literally I'm seeing it right now. You didn't do anything. And then corporate saw it, and the CEO saw it. It was like, we're just sorry that it happened to you. And,
but y'all have partnered since then.
We partnered since then. We do good things, but like I say, that first month,
it was hard.
I mean, I'm in public. They don't know my name no more. They calling me, the company was Eggs Up. Mr. Egg, like, they calling me by the names, like, I can't believe it happened to you. That's like, we boycott, we ain't going back. And it was just a lot of going on. So I kind of stayed off social media for a little bit.
And it's not something that you asked for. Like,
no, I did not.
And you left.
I did not ask for that. I think the first time I comment on it was like 3-4 weeks later. Like, thank y'all for your support.
Yeah.
I appreciate y'all supporting me. Like the CSRA, parts of South Carolina, other people in Georgia, friends from school. It just got getting calls or whatever, you know what I'm saying?
Just to speak on, like, you talking about processing and things being full circle, I want to say one thing I mentioned earlier, like I was saying about the draft and NBA making that level, about the choices you make. Even that, like, that being a negative turned into a positive, but probably more so from the choice you made of, I'm just going to leave versus I ain't going nowhere.
Yeah.
Because now maybe you look at the camera, maybe it get physical. You never know, like, what happens, or maybe you lose you never know, right? You know, what happens when somebody come, but you leave and you go about it gracefully. A good choice to make. But also, I'm thinking about, like, that when I saw it through people in the medical field, from not even from like the Augusta, they from like Waynesboro, like they just like, I know somebody that know him.
Yeah,
like, it's not right.
Yeah.
So just to see the pour of love from people that probably didn't even physically know you,
for sure,
but just knowing people around you, or people, you know, and your name speaking for itself, your reputation kind of precedes itself as well. So I thought that was spoke volumes to me before I even seen the original post.
Yeah, for sure.
And like I said, but just also seeing you out, I'm like, I don't know. I haven't seen you coaching now. I haven't seen you really get too, crazy. So I was like, cursing a teenager just don't seem like his thing. So yeah, that was wild though. But
it was a wild situation, but I learned a lot. Yeah, I always ask myself, what can I learn from these situations myself?
Right.
And so, like I said, people reached out to want to know how could they handle a situation like that. I said, you got to go through it sometimes, but if you handle it the best way you know how to. That was the best way I knew how to. And I knew that, after our conversation, that if they really want to make it right, that we can partner and do something for the community and do something that I always do.
Yeah, I think that was dope too. Like just that you're not holding no grudges. Like it happened. All right, cool. This is my story, but you're not bashful. Even still today, you're not bashing them. Like this, what happened? Maybe you even finding reasons why it happened for them to use. Maybe it was this. Maybe it's a bad day. Maybe
Yeah, I wasn't even trying to play. Interviews wanting to play the race card. They want me to put them against people. I was like, that's not even me. Like, you treat people how you want to be treated, and that's all I had wanted.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. So
I think the dope thing about talking to him has just been like for me the theme of process. So like I think about just you coming up wanting to play for a school, then you finally play for the school and going through the proper steps. You going to the JUCO and going through the proper steps. You going to land there feeling like, okay, well, this is not going to be that. What's the next process I can make to do the next thing in my life? Then doing that and being successful at it. But everything just seems to be process. Even your coaching, like you start out voluntarily, manager, getting rebounds, cleaning jerseys. Like that's crazy. First of all, right? A lot of jerseys to clean. And so, like, I think the idea of just sticking through and going through the process is important, just amongst your story. But I think it's a player can take that in general.
Yeah, and like I said, I knew I had the big picture in mind. I think those things you just named has allowed me to, over the years, be able to be where I'm at today and still trying to get higher. It's more that's more I want to accomplish, more I want to do, but also being able to be an integral part of some of these players, men and women. Mentor help them out to navigate their way. Like I say, it's just something that I take pride in, but also think it's my purpose to do that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, like I said, I think this is an amazing talk. I don't know what you think, but I like this conversation. You know what I'm saying? This was dope. We knew what we though. We kind of said that though, and I know I was talking to Rail earlier, and he was saying the same thing. Like it'll be a good interview. So if you could, you definitely had that chat with Raul Hall. I
will, man. Like I say,
he said he'd get Raul Hall to talk. So.
Yeah. I'm gonna give Raul Hall a call. I just like to say, I may live away from the CSRA, but David know this. I'm always in the mix of trying to figure where I can better my community behind the scenes or be part of it. And I was like, it's a list of players through my resume that I've tried to help in this area, whether it's on the South Carolina, North Augusta side, or even the Richmond County, Columbia County side, to be able to help them. And I've been fortunate to be around good people and coach good players. Don't ask me all their names because I don't want none of them to call me and say who's all those guys. But just to being a part of them, and like I say, I'm looking through social media now, and I even see Zep help working out guys or being around the kids. Or I even see him showing up for some other people's games. So I see a lot of guys that I've coached or helped be a part of. They all found their niche in what they want to do, whatever they want to do. And like I say, if it works for them, they stand out of trouble, and then it's just blessing them, then they keep doing what they're doing. But I tell them all the time, I thank them the more than they should thank me, because without them having an opportunity to see if I could do it and be able to manage talent, egos, and help them, the platform or things I'm doing now wouldn't have been possible. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I got a good last question. You let me know if it's a good one. Like, when you think that South Carolina going to beat Georgia in one of these South Carolina-Georgia games?
You talking about in
basketball?
Basketball?
Yeah. Like, what year you think it's going to happen?
If South Carolina can beat Georgia, any year, we just got to make sure we got the right pieces.
This is not the last five, though.
It's just not just, Hey, you got to keep going, man. It took Mike a long time to beat Detroit. We just got to keep plugging away, you know what I'm saying? You got to keep plugging away.
Crazy ass.
You got to keep plugging away. So hopefully this year, it might be a chance that we've been close a couple of years. It might be this year.
Y'all in the class? They in the class?
Yeah, we back. He invited us back.
Okay. Hey, just another question, and this is a good question for you, because when I ask this, it's different. Do you ever feel like, not even just from David, because David does his own thing, but like when you be in the class, do you feel like it be home cooking here? Like y'all supposed to like lose, or do you feel like it be fair? Y'all lose outright?
Okay, so I'm gonna just go back. being from North Augusta, we always had to earn our love from anywhere we go. Earn our respect. So the first year was like, yo, I remember they said, but why you got them farmers in the tournament? They called us farmers. So I told David, he'll tell you this. I said, David, if we don't have a good showing, take us out. I told him that. Yeah, so every year we got better. Yeah. And now it's like, yo, now we earn some respect. So this year we went to the chip, Final Four in the chip last year. So we just got to try to get over that hump.
Okay, yeah. We're going to see.
We have enough talent.
Definitely
we take basketball serious enough because we just got to get over the hump. You know what I'm saying?
No, they be saying that they be giving y'all hard games so y'all can't make it past the first round.
What? We made it on the first year. We made it past the first round every year except for the first one. We're not going to do it the chip. We lost in the championship not too long ago, so we there.
And,
I seen one.
Grant had got hurt.
Yeah, we got hurt.
Yeah, because they beat Laney, I thought, or something like that. They beat somebody in there. They went to the championship. I remember that.
Right pieces, play, got enough talent to make it to the last game.
Yeah, another time be funny, but I know the first time y'all lost, people was mad at you because I don't know if you was coaching. I don't know.
Oh, they was mad at me because
you ain't play Walt.
Huh?
Yeah, they ain't play Walt. I'm keeping the buck. That's what they say. You laughing, Dave? Am I lying?
Here's the thing. Everybody, they get mad when certain people don't play. So I get it. You know what I'm saying? So
and I ain't pieced it together because remember we went back there in the classroom and we talked to them. I said let's do that, and I asked them not even knowing like your resume, who you were. Even the guy that played with that was the play that was there. My brother was like, "Oh, you remember him?" I don't know. I'm just doing my interview thing, and I not knowing that I just asked because when I was walking through, everybody was saying like, "Why Walt didn't play? Why Walt didn't play? Why Walt didn't play?" And I was like,
he'll tell you that first year we were up late in the game, and a couple plays were made, and we had the last shot. It was tied. I think he hit a free throw. I drew up a good play, just missed it.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. So I mean, all that chatter is part of coaching. I heard it a lot. You know what I'm saying.
Definitely, man. Well, I definitely appreciate you coming through, man. This was a really good interview, good conversation from you, man. I definitely appreciate you for stopping and give us the time. I know you got a busy schedule. You just came from doing some great things. So definitely appreciate you. Want to give you a flower. So shout out to you and Upward and Hoops EDU and everything you're doing, man.
Appreciate you guys.
All right, clap it up, man. One Masters Podcast, we out.
Welcome to One Masters Podcast, brought by Brooke
Good stuff.
and Bailey. Rap.